Assalamu Alaikum, and a most warm and heartfelt welcome. Today, we embark on a deeply fascinating journey of discovery. A journey that explores the profound and undeniable harmony between the eternal, unchanging words of the Holy Quran and the empirical, observable facts of the natural world as revealed by modern scientific inquiry. Our focus is on those specific verses, those divine signs or ayat that describe natural phenomena, cosmological events, and biological processes with a degree of accuracy that is nothing short of breathtaking. These descriptions, perfectly aligned with discoveries made only in the last century, stand as a powerful and timeless testament to the divine origin of this final revelation. It is crucial to understand from the outset that the primary purpose of the Quran is not to serve as a detailed encyclopedia of science. Its core mission is spiritual and moral guidance for humanity. However, woven intricately within its teachings, its parables, and its commands are these profound signs, these nuggets of advanced knowledge that act as a powerful bridge for the modern, rational mind. They demonstrate that the one who revealed this book is the very same one who designed the intricate, immutable laws of the universe. Therefore, there can be no contradiction between divine revelation and a genuine scientific fact. Both are from the same source. The Quran itself, in numerous verses, invites, even commands, humanity to observe, to investigate, to travel through the earth and sea, to reflect upon the creation of the heavens and the earth. It appeals to the intellect, to the aql. This exploration is a response to that divine invitation. The presence of this advanced, inexplicable knowledge in a text that emerged from 7th century Arabia challenges any materialistic explanation and points a compelling finger toward a transcendent, divine source. The concept of a scientific miracle in this context is defined as a statement within the Quran concerning a natural phenomenon or a fact about the universe that aligns perfectly with established modern scientific knowledge, but which was absolutely beyond the scope of human knowledge, observation, or experimentation at the time of its revelation. This knowledge was inaccessible to the scientists, the philosophers, and the common people of that era. There was no telescope, no microscope, no geological drilling equipment, no satellite imagery. The desert of Arabia was not a center of advanced scientific learning. It was a place where tribal customs and ancient traditions held sway. Therefore, when the Quran speaks about the initial state of the universe, the protective function of the atmosphere, the embryonic stages of human development, or the precise behavior of deep-sea waters, it is making statements that could not have been based on the human knowledge of the accuracy of these statements, validated centuries later, thus serves as a powerful sign, a sire, for those who contemplate and use their reason. It is a message that transcends its time of revelation, speaking with equal potency to every succeeding generation. And in our current age of unprecedented scientific advancement, these signs shine with a particular brilliance, offering a robust, logical foundation for faith. Let us begin our detailed exploration with the grandest and most fundamental subject of all, the origin and nature of the universe itself. For much of recorded human history, various cultures and civilizations held diverse creation myths and cosmological theories. The prevailing scientific view for centuries, heavily influenced by the works of ancient Greek philosophers like Aristotle, was that the universe was static, eternal, and unchanging. This was the accepted paradigm. It was only in the early 20th century that this view was completely overturned by a series of monumental discoveries. The work of astronomers like Vesto Slipher and later Edwin Hubble led to the revolutionary realization that the galaxies are not stationary, they are all moving away from each other at tremendous speeds. This observation of galactic redshift led directly to the groundbreaking conclusion that the universe must be expanding. If the universe is expanding now, then tracing this expansion backwards in time logically leads to the inference that the entire cosmos, all matter, energy, space and time originated from a single point of infinite density and temperature, a singularity. This initial cataclysmic event, now universally known as the Big Bang Theory, is the standard model of cosmology and is supported by a vast and convincing body of evidence, including the cosmic microwave background radiation, the observed abundance of light elements, and the large-scale structure of the universe. Now, with this modern scientific understanding firmly in mind, let us turn to the Quran. In Surah Al-Anbiya chapter 21 verse 30, Allah says, "Do not those who disbelieve see that the heavens and the earth were a joined entity, and then we separated them?" The Arabic words used here are profoundly specific and carry immense meaning. The phrase heavens and the earth refers to the entirety of the universe. They were rakan, meaning a seamless, fused, tightly knit and unified whole, a single compact mass, with no space, no separation, no distinction. Then, Allah fataknahuma, meaning He split them apart, clove them asunder, tore them apart. This is a stunningly precise and succinct description of the initial singularity of the Big Bang and its subsequent violent separation and expansion, creating the fabric of space and time itself. But the Quran does not stop there. It provides an additional, equally astounding detail. In Surah Ad-Dariyat, chapter 51 verse 47, it states, "And the heaven we constructed with strength, and indeed we are its expander." The word used for expander is lamusi una, which is derived from the root word osa, which explicitly means to expand, to make wider, to extend. This is a direct, unambiguous, and present-tense statement about the ongoing expansion of the universe, a fact that was not discovered and confirmed by astronomers until 1929, with Hubble's observation. The correlation between these Quranic verses and the modern cosmological model is not merely poetic or metaphorical, it is a precise factual alignment that defies coincidence and points irresistibly to a divine source of knowledge, a source that exists outside of the constraints of time and human discovery. Next, we descend from the vastness of the cosmos to consider our own precious planet, Earth, and the magnificent, finely tuned systems that make it a unique oasis of life in the known universe. The Quran repeatedly draws our attention to the sky above us, describing it in a way that reveals its critical and protective functions. In Surah Al-Anbiya, chapter 21 verse 32, it says, "And we made the sky a protected ceiling, but they, from its signs, are turning away." What is this protection? What does this protected ceiling actually do? Modern atmospheric science reveals that our atmosphere acts as a crucial and multi-layered shield, without which life on Earth would be impossible. First, the ozone layer within the stratosphere absorbs the vast majority of the sun's harmful ultraviolet, UVB, and UVC radiation. This radiation is highly energetic and is capable of causing severe damage to DNA, leading to mutations, cancers, and the destruction of microbial life. Without this protective layer, complex life could not have evolved on land. Second, the atmosphere serves as a physical shield against incoming projectiles from space. Millions of meteoroids and pieces of space debris, ranging from tiny grains to larger rocks, hurtle towards Earth every day. The vast majority of these are incinerated upon entry into the mesosphere and thermosphere due to friction, appearing to us as shooting stars. This prevents a constant catastrophic bombardment of the Earth's surface. Third, the atmosphere acts as a thermal blanket and regulator. It traps just enough of the sun's heat through the greenhouse effect to maintain a stable and habitable average temperature of about 59 degrees. Without this effect, the Earth's average temperature would plummet to around 118 degrees, 0 degrees, making it a frozen, lifeless world. It also distributes heat around the planet through wind and weather patterns, preventing extreme temperature imbalances. The Quranic description of the sky as a protected ceiling is not a vague or archaic poetic statement. It is a precise and comprehensive scientific truth that encapsulates these vital functions that were entirely unknown and unimaginable in the 7th century. Furthermore, the Quran provides profound and accurate insights into the field of geology, specifically concerning the formation and function of mountains. When we look at a magnificent mountain range like the Himalayas or the Alps, we see only its majestic peak, its visible summit above the ground. However, geology teaches us that this visible peak is only a small fraction of the mountain's total structure. Mountains have deep, root-like structures that extend deep into the Earth's crust and even into the upper mantle. This discovery is a fundamental pillar of the theory of plate tectonics. Mountains are formed by the massive collision of tectonic plates. The immense pressure of this collision causes the crust to buckle and fold, pushing material upwards to form the mountain range above ground, while also forcing a much larger volume of material downwards to form a deep root. This is analogous to an iceberg, where most of its mass is hidden underwater. Crucially, these mountain roots play a vital role in stabilizing the Earth's crust. They act like anchors or stabilizers for the tectonic plates, preventing them from shifting and sliding around violently. This isostatic equilibrium provided by mountains is essential for minimizing the severity and frequency of earthquakes, making the planet more stable for life. This is exactly the imagery the Quran uses. In Surah An-Naba, chapter 78, verses 6-7, Allah says, "Have we not made the earth a resting place, and the mountains as..." The Arabic word for stakes is atad, which specifically means tent pegs, objects that are driven deep into the ground to provide firmness, stability, and anchorage to the structure placed above them. In another verse, Surah An-Nahl chapter 16 verse 15, the function is stated even more explicitly, "And he has placed firm mountains on the earth, so that it does not shake with you." This is a clear, unambiguous statement of geological function that aligns perfectly with the modern understanding of isostasy and plate tectonics, an understanding that only emerged in the late. The Quran also contains remarkably precise descriptions of astronomical bodies and their motions. For centuries, the geocentric model of the universe, which placed a stationary Earth at the center with the sun, moon, and planets revolving around it, held sway. It was a model championed by Ptolemy and was considered scientific fact. The Quran, however, never explicitly affirms this incorrect model. Instead, it describes the movement of celestial bodies in a way that is consistent with modern astronomy. In Surah Yasin, chapter 36, verse 38, it states regarding the sun, "And the sun runs on course toward its stopping point." That is the determination of the exalted in might, the knowing. The word runs implies constant movement and a designated course or orb. We now know this is entirely correct. The sun is not stationary within the Milky Way galaxy. It is moving at a tremendous speed of approximately 220 kilometers per second, about 92,000 miles per hour, orbiting the galactic center. This journey takes about 250 million years to complete one full orbit, a period known as a galactic year. The verse also mentions the sun moving towards a stopping point, a resting place or a destination, which aligns with modern astrophysical understanding of the sun's trajectory through space. Furthermore, the Quran makes a critical and fundamental distinction between the nature of the sun and the moon. It refers to the sun as a saraj, a blazing lamp, or a wahaj, a glowing orb, terms that imply a body that generates its own light and heat through internal processes, which we now know to be nuclear fusion. In contrast, the moon is described as Noor, a light, or Munir, a reflector of light, terms that indicate its light is not its own, but is borrowed and reflected from another source. This fundamental difference between a star, the sun, and a non-luminous satellite that reflects light, the moon, was not established scientific fact in the 7th century. The common belief was that the moon produced its own light. Perhaps the most famous, detailed, and celebrated example of scientific accuracy in the Quran is its description of the stages of human embryonic development. This description is found in several verses, but is presented most comprehensively and sequentially in Surah Al-Mu'minun, chapter 20,
verses 12 to 14. "And certainly did we create man from an extract of clay. Then we placed him as a drop of sperm in a place of settlement, firmly fixed. Then we made the sperm drop into a clinging clot, and we made the clot into a chewed lump, and we made the chewed lump into bones, and we covered the bones with flesh. Then we developed him into another creation. So blessed
Is Allah the best of creators?
The accuracy of this sequence, revealed over 1400 years ago, is nothing short of miraculous. Modern embryology, which only developed its detailed understanding with the advent of powerful microscopes in the last few centuries, confirms this description with astonishing precision. Let's analyze the stages mentioned in the verse, with their modern embryological correlates. 1. Nutfa. This Arabic word primarily means a drop, and it refers to the minute quantity of fluid that is the sperm drop. It can also encompass the concept of the fertilized ovum, zygote, which is indeed a tiny drop of fluid. It signifies the very beginning of a new human being from a minuscule amount of liquid. Alaka. This is the second stage, and the word is brilliantly chosen as it has 3 distinct meanings in Arabic, all of which are scientifically accurate descriptions of the embryo at this stage, approximately days 7 to 24. First, it means a leap. At this stage, the embryo attaches itself to and implants in the endometrium of the uterus, literally clinging to it to survive. Much like a leech clings to a host and draws blood, the embryo draws blood and nutrients from the maternal decidua for its nourishment. Second, it means a suspended thing, as the embryo is suspended in the womb by the connecting stalk, which later develops into the umbilical cord. Third, it means a blood clot. The external appearance of the embryo at this stage, with its blood islands and the initiation of a primitive blood circulation system, gives it a distinct resemblance to a coagulated clot of blood. 3. Mujga. This means a chewed substance or a chewed lump. By the 4th week, the embryo enters the somite stage. The somites are mesodermal tissue masses that are the early formations of the vertebrae and other skeletal muscles. These somites appear along the back of the embryo and give it a distinctive appearance that closely and unmistakably resembles teeth marks on a piece of chewed meat or gum. This is a remarkably apt and visual description. Formation of bones, item, and clothing with flesh. Lame. Embryology confirms that the cartilaginous precursors of bones form first within the chewed lump stage. After the bones are laid down, they are then clothed or covered with muscle flesh. This process of ossification, bone formation and myogenesis, muscle formation, is described with perfect sequential and morphological accuracy. The bones are formed first and are subsequently clothed by the muscles.